All right. If the biggest problem with politics is transparency and honesty and truthfulness and all that stuff, and that's one of the big things I hear coming out of MAGA and the Republican Party a lot is, Nancy Pelosi and the shady stock deals and all this other stuff. And yes, I agree, none of that should happen. That needs to be fixed, both sides of the aisle, no matter what. But the big thing is honesty in politics, and that the people in politics aren't using their positions to actually enrich themselves. Like the Congress people and the senators knowing that there's a vote that's coming up that's going to affect the stock price of one company or another, and then they go and they buy the stock and stuff like that. There's that app that tracks all the stock purchases and sales by the people in office, which I think is brilliant, by the way. But we all agree that that doesn't need to happen. My concern is, all right, so both sides of the aisle know that needs to stop. Period. End of discussion, right? We also know that the lobbyists and the big companies that are paying for votes, essentially, that needs to stop. So let's just take that there. The politicians not being politicians because politicians are all corrupt. If we get those two things out of the way, we're looking at the politicians themselves. So on the Republican side of the aisle, we have a guy who's going through these trials that they have found tax fraud. Lots and lots of business fraud, lots and lots of lying and not being honest to use their position to make more money. You lie about the value of a home saying it's worth $2 million when it's worth $1 million. Maybe you can get a loan for $1.5 million using that $2 million asset as equity, as, a guarantee on the loan. But if it's really a $500,000 property and you lie and you get $1.5 million in a loan, because you lied saying it was $2 million, you're defrauding to enrich yourself beyond your means, using your position. It's the same thing everyone's mad about in politics, but it's in personal life. And this is a man who's a billionaire, all right? Everyone says he's a billionaire, he's a billionaire, he's a billionaire. And everyone's mad these days, both sides of the aisle, at taxes. Taxes are unfair, all right? Taxes are not fair. We're paying too much taxes. We don't have that much money. We can't pay the sales tax, the income tax, all this, taxes. It's unfair. We all know it's unfair. So you've got this same billionaire that just lied and got an extra $1.25 million over what he would have gotten if he told the truth, who paid $750 in income tax for a year. $750. And before that, he used the tax laws to manipulate the system, to con the system, to lie, so he wouldn't have to pay any taxes. In fact, he wrote it off as like a $1 billion loss or whatever it was for 18 straight years. So this is a billionaire who has gotten tax refunds, tax returns, money, taxpayer money, the 99% that are paying the taxes, that money went to Donald Trump. Hundreds of millions and tens of millions of dollars at a time in tax refunds for all his companies that he played all these games with and lied to get more taxes back. So we all know the tax structure needs to be changed because people like him and the big companies shouldn't have so many loopholes that they make record profits in a year. They got a $2 billion tax subsidy or return back, and they're not paying a dime in taxes, and they're paying their employees minimum wage, and those employees can't afford to even go to work again at a second full-time job, so they're all on public assistance, so that's taking money out of the taxes. So the big people, the big companies that aren't paying anything need to pay taxes, correct? Both sides of the aisle. So we've got a man who has the ear and has the passionate votes of the MAGA crowd and a lot of the Republicans that very proudly screws the system and other people every single chance he gets. And those same people don't even want to see the evidence in the trial proving that he has manipulated the system, making our taxes go up. making everything in our lives more expensive because he lies and manipulates the system and gets more money in return. He gets bigger tax returns than you and I have made in our entire lives combined. Every freaking year, multiple times over, because he does it for every one of his companies. That's the tax master manipulator, when he was very, very proud saying to Hillary Clinton that I don't pay taxes because I'm smart. And everyone went, yeah, screw the government. But then you bitch that there's not enough money in the government to pay what we need to pay, like, health care for everybody, like school lunches for struggling, financially strapped families. That's what we go after. Social Security is what we go after. And how is that actually going to affect our lives? If Social Security gets down to nothing, disability gets down to nothing, veterans benefits they're going after. Veterans benefits. You love the veterans, right? What's the realistic implication of the ramifications of what's going to happen once that happens? What's actually going to happen? But we're still mad because there's not enough money to help Ukraine. We'll send it to Israel, but not Ukraine. Use your heads. There's not enough money because the assholes that aren't paying taxes, like Donald J. Trump, that are manipulating every tax filing fraudulently, like Donald Trump, are the ones that are costing us all these things that we should already have, but we can't afford because there's too many assholes like Donald Trump that aren't paying their fair share. So why are you mad at the Democrats? And Democrats, why aren't you mad at people like Nancy Pelosi who are taking, sorry Nancy, but you're taking advantage of the system with your stocks, and so are many, many, many of you. Let's fix all these freaking problems. But the number one problem we got to fix is recognizing these people being so smart they can screw the system and not paying a dime in taxes. They're also getting hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in a tax return because they also know how to manipulate that side of the system. What is it? Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these senators got $20 million in PPP money. How does that work out? It's $1,000 per employee. How many employees do they actually have? 20 million worth? I owned a restaurant, 2 restaurants at the time. I got $1,000 per employee, and they fought me for giving it when every penny went to payroll. But they got 20, 30, 40 million dollars, $9 million. What companies do they have? Lauren Boebert got millions and millions and millions of dollars. What company? She has a failed restaurant. It was bankrupt. It was closed, but she still got the money. Nothing happened to her. And you're pissed off that there's not enough money to send to Ukraine, or to give starving kids in this country, to give veterans their benefits in this country. There's not enough money. But all that pissing away money and screwing people out of money is okay because you voted for those people. It's a bit hypocritical. And it's a whole lot of bullshit. And it's nothing close to patriotism. It's blind allegiance to a party. So can we recognize that and get over that and recognize the things that piss us off the most we're actually voting to keep around? It's not smart to screw over the system. It makes you a criminal. There's legitimate reasons people can't afford to pay taxes. That's legitimate. That's from actual struggle. But there's a manipulation and a purposeful malicious con. And then to turn around on the other side of it and maximize what you get back. So all of these things that are going on that we're all frustrated about with what's going on in politics and what's going on with Washington, we need to recognize we all feel the same way. But we need to fix the first things first. The Trump trials need to happen because we all need to see what happened. And then once we see the problems that the evidence will bring out, the little things they skirt around, we can close those loopholes. We can close that so no one else can do it. And we punish those who already did it. That's justice. That's making America great again. And that gives us the money for universal health care and anything else we ever need. Think about it. Take off your hat. Go back to the flag with just 3 colors on it.